Where is everybody? All right. I have no injuries to update you on. We came out pretty clean there. My hat goes off to our fans. What a great job they did. It's a tough place to play, and they truly are the 12th man in there. So we appreciate them a ton. Defensively and offensively, I thought the coordinators just had great game plans, and with the coaches, the assistant coaches, I thought they did a nice job likewise. And then there were some good personal things that went on. Pat Mahomes, he had a great day, and then Kelce, it was great to see him rolling 6 catches for 78 yards. Hollywood getting him into the mix, and he did a nice job. Pacheco had a nice day, and all of that because the offensive line played well. Andy Heck does a heck of a job with that, no pun intended. And then 6.1 yards per play, which was great there. It was a positive. And then special teams, I thought our return game was good. We didn't have but one punt, and then we got Bucker a field goal, which was great, man. He did a nice job of that thing, drilled it. And all in all, a good night. I mean, I could keep going here, but it was one of those good nights. So, time's yours.
Andy, you mentioned the line right away. What did you see from Jalen Moore, and how did that all play out?
Yeah, Jalen, I thought did a nice job. He just had a baby too, which is a great thing. So, last night or early this morning, however you want to put it. But he stepped in. Josh was gone for personal reasons, so for him to step in was a nice thing, and I thought he did a nice job. And tribute to Andy for rolling those guys during the week and getting that part done.
And when did you realize or understand you wouldn't have Josh, and when might you expect him back?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. When he's back, he's got to take care of that, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But we were aware of it. Yeah.
You just learned today, or last night?
Does it matter if I?
Coach Reid,
Yeah.
how did y'all go from 13 penalties last week to 0 accepted this week?
Yeah, so penalties are kind of a crazy thing. So it's sometimes they come in waves. So I thought the officials did a nice job, but I thought our guys did a nice job of correcting some of those, with a good conscious effort to put forward there. So, yeah, it was a positive though, really.
Andy, the initial 4th down you went for inside of the 10-yard line, just take me through that decision.
Yeah, the decision, I thought it was the right thing to do, especially when you're playing a team that scores a lot of points. But I just thought it was the right way to go. Those are all subjective decisions. And then I know if you talk to the stats guy, they're going to tell you to go for about every 4th down. And Frazier does a good job of keeping it within reason. So, but listen, it was the right time to do that.
The way the offense has been playing last week, and then the way they started out the game, does that make that decision with that kind of swing?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, it helps when we're doing okay. Yeah, and that sure does. Yeah.
Andy, you mentioned the game planning offensively and defensively, but to what do you attribute kind of the surge in the last 3 weeks or so and how the offense has been?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've said this, but getting one back was a big thing. Xavier brings a lot of energy, and he can do a lot of things for you. And then he has an attitude there that he brings, and getting Rasheed back in the building, I also think was a big part. I think they felt that they were whole again, at least by body there. So that was positive, having him back in the building.
And you also feel like Hollywood's kind of hitting his stride, and what you might have thought.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He had a nice day. 4 for 45, a couple TDs. He's a good football player. He loves to play. So I'm trying to give him the ball in many ways. We had the jet sweep to him, which was good, and down in there in the red zone. So that was a helper.
Coach, their first drive was 15 plays, and they got down there and it looked like they scored a touchdown. Were you aware of the teal hat?
Yeah, actually, the official told me right away what went on. So, yeah, but it was weird. You don't see that very often. It was a different kind of play too. So they're very creative in what they do, and That one, he didn't get set, so that was a problem.
A little weird and maybe ugly at the end of the game. What was your view of what happened out there afterwards with the scuffle?
Yeah, well, you guys saw it. I mean, it was, the guy came up and hit Juju for what looked like no reason. I mean, we're taking a knee, so, that's tough. I mean, put pretty good damage on Juju's nose.
Andy, you scored touchdowns there right before halftime and right after halftime. How big was that in the game?
Yeah, well, they deferred, so they gave us an opportunity to get the ball the second half. We were able to come out and score there, which I thought that was big. Anytime you come out that second half and move the ball a little bit, I think it helps everybody. And then the first half, it was a good drive. I can't say enough about, the Nagy's, the Blameyers, these guys that put that plan together, man. Connor and the whole group just had some good stuff. Todd Pinkston and his, De Leon, we've added into the mix here, and he gives us a nice perspective from the defensive side. And he's kind of gotten into the offensive part of it too, so that helps just with putting the game plan together. But I thought it was a thick game plan.
Andy, you mentioned Travis earlier, but can you elaborate a little bit on what you see about why he's so effective tonight, particularly?
I think he came back in great shape. I think he's been playing well all along. He particularly these last 3 weeks. So he came back in good shape, though. And at his age, that's important. That's a big thing.
Last one, Sam.
And you mentioned the offensive line, but not just protecting on each individual play, but just the impact of what they've done maybe the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You noticed that's had.
Yeah, you'd asked me that before, and I agree with that they've gotten better as we've gone on. The young guys, or in this case, Jalen jumping in and doing his thing. So it's a good group, and they're physical. I think if you could take something away from this game, when they bear down, they can bear down. So that ends up being important.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, good.
With his fiancée in attendance and the Kansas City Chiefs needing a win to get back to .500, Travis Kelce had his second straight solid performance in Week 6. The veteran tight end, whose age has showed more often in 2024 and 2025, put up a new season high in receiving yards in a Sunday Night Football matchup against the Detroit Lions. More importantly for the Chiefs, Kelce had a few catches that set up points against one of the NFC's best units, and for a Kansas City team that entered at 2-3 and third in the AFC West, a primetime win was set to do a ton for its early playoff outlook. Here's a look at Kelce's reliable connection with Mahomes becoming a theme in Week 6 of Sunday Night Football. It marked just the second time in 6 games this season that Kelce was Kansas City's leader in receiving, something that wouldn't have been very surprising a year or two ago, but given his decline in numbers, was significant in itself. With Rashee Rice set to return to the Chiefs next week, Kelce remained Mahomes' favorite target, leading the team in targets, 7, and receptions, 6. Xavier Worthy also saw 4 targets for 20 yards and a touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster had 57 yards, and Hollywood Brown found the end zone twice. As an added bonus for him, Kelce also passed Jason Witten on the all-time list of receiving yards in primetime NFL games. Kansas City, Missouri. The Detroit Lions will have both their starting safeties in the lineup for tonight's showdown with the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday, October 12. Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch are active for the Lions are missing practice time with injuries this week. Joseph did not practice at all because of a knee injury that has nagged him since the Lions' Week 4 win over the Cleveland Browns, and Branch was limited Wednesday and Thursday and did not practice Friday because of a foot injury. Joseph played through his injury last week, while Lions coach Dan Campbell said he expected Branch to play after the third-year safety went for an MRI on his foot Thursday. The Lions are down both starting cornerbacks, with DJ Reid, hamstring, on injured reserve and Terrion Arnold, shoulder, inactive, and backup safety/slot cornerback Avonte Maddox is inactive with a hamstring injury he suffered midweek. Amik Robertson and Rock Ya-Sin are expected to start at cornerback. Left tackle Taylor Decker, shoulder, linebacker Zach Cunningham, hamstring, running back Sione Vaki, groin, safety Loren Strickland and defensive lineman Mekhi Wingo also are inactive for the Lions, 4-1. Detroit Lions RB David Montgomery should have no issue hitting the over 10.5 carries prop for Sunday night. In 4 out of 5 games, he has hit the over, and he is currently coming off of his highest carry total of the season, with 18 in Week 5. He also has a favorable matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a below-average rush defense in 2025. They are currently 12th in most rushing yards allowed per game. Xavier Worthy's over-reception prop is a great play on Sunday night. Since he has returned to the Chiefs lineup, QB Patrick Mahomes has made it a point to give him the ball. In the 2 games since being back, he has 17 targets, and covered his reception total in Week 5 with 6 catches. This Chiefs team is desperate for explosive plays, and Worthy is one of their main weapons in the pass game that can provide them. He can do it on a go route or on a short slant, and going up against a Lions team that has allowed the 12th fewest passing yards per game, Mahomes will likely be targeting him a ton, so he can make an impact. This receiving prop feels like it got inflated for Detroit Lions TE1 Sam Laporta, after he recorded his highest receiving total of the season in Week 5 against the Cincinnati Bengals. In the game, he had 92 receiving yards on 5 catches. This is definitely impressive, but he will be going up against a much improved passing defense when playing the Chiefs. The Bengals have allowed the most fantasy PPR points to the TE position this season in 2025, while the Chiefs have allowed the 3rd fewest. In the last 4 weeks, Kansas City has not allowed an opposing TE1 over Laporta's 46.5 receiving yard prop total. His under is definitely the play to take here. Travis Kelce is coming off a solid receiving outing, recording 61 yards in Week 5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He should have a tougher time generating yards in the pass game against the Detroit Lions defense, making his under 45.5 receiving yards prop a great one to take on Sunday night. Just one time this season has an opposing TE1 recorded over 45.5 yards against the Lions. This was Mark Andrews, where he had 91 yards.